Hello gorgeous! Today on Molly's Fortissimo we're going to take a trip down memory lane. If you were a child in the early 2000s and or late 90s, but probably more the early 2000s to mid 2000s, and you lived in the UK or probably the US, or probably other countries to be honest, I don't really know, then you're going to get a lot of nostalgia coming your way because I'm going to talk about my favourite childhood cartoons. Now I'm just really talking about the ones I can actually remember enough to talk about because there are a lot of cartoons from my childhood which I only kinda remember. Apparently, according to my sources, Saturday morning cartoons aren't really a thing for children anymore. What? You're just missing out. Well, I guess children nowadays can just whip out the iPod and just get cartoons whenever they want. They don't have to wait for Saturday mornings to come. I remember the sacred Saturday morning, I remember every Saturday morning I'd wake up really early and I'd go downstairs and I'd watch like Toonatic or like Ministry of Mayhem with my brother, and then we'd have our piano lesson and then we'd watch some more cartoons. I think those early days were like what made me love cartoons so much, and also what's made me love watching TV so much. Because I remember thinking, wow, this is just so much fun. Not all of these are Saturday morning cartoons, but most of them are. Some of them are just general cartoons that I watched when I was little. But let's get to it. Also, these are in no particular order. Also, this video is going to be really long because I have about 20 of them. The first one I'm going to talk about is SpongeBob SquarePants. This is probably the only one on this list that I watch on a regular basis now. Well, actually there's a couple of others, but this one I watch the most now. I was just watching it in the bath this morning. I love SpongeBob so much. It is genius, it's so stupid, yet so great. I love it. The next show I'm going to talk about is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the cartoon version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which aired from 2003. I loved the theme song to this show. And when I hear about people talking about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme, I'm like, you're thinking about the wrong one. This is the one I remember. It's so good though. I remember me and my brother used to just burst out laughing watching this show. Like, it was great. I haven't actually watched any other versions of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but this is my one. My favourite turtle was Michelangelo. I also quite liked Raphael. He was like the moody one. Oh, it's so good. It was so good. I generally still watch this. I haven't watched it in a while, but this is a good show. The next show I'm going to talk about is Tom and Jerry Kids. The Tom and Jerry Kids show. Tom and Jerry Kids was a Tom and Jerry TV show which had Tom and Jerry in it, but it also had like other characters in it, such as Droopy, Spike and Tyke, and Blast Off Buzzard, who I don't know why, but my parents just love Tom and Jerry, and pretty much every adult I know in this country loves Tom and Jerry. It always seems to get voted on people's like top cartoon list in the UK. I don't know why people like it so much. But yes, I did like Tom and Jerry. It was funny. And the theme song, again, good. These cartoons all had really good theme songs. The next show I'm going to talk about is Rugrats. It was really great because it was kind of like just like watching you and your friends as kids. It was really nice. Remember, unlike like the wacky cartoons I watched a lot when I was a kid, this one was a bit more real. I mean, it was about babies who could talk. My favourite character from Rugrats always was Chucky. I could relate to Chucky because he was kind of scared and timid, which I felt like I was like a bit at times. Moving on swiftly to the next show, The Wild Thornberrys. Does anyone remember the Rugrats Wild Thornberrys crossover film? Looking back, I think the reason I watched this so much as a child is because Tim Curry is in it. My mum loves Tim Curry, so a lot of times I'll be looking at things I used to watch as a child and I'll be like, that's why I watched that, because Tim Curry was in it. Because Tim Curry is an amazing voice actor as well as, an amazing singer, an amazing live action actor. So he did Creep his way into quite a few cartoons, of which I watched a lot. So sometimes I'll be looking at something random and I'll be like, why did I watch this as a child? I don't think any of my friends did. I don't think it was on TV. And I'll look at the cast list, I'll see his name and I'll be like, oh, that's why. I did rent out quite a few Wild Thornberrys videos, and I watched a lot of Wild Thornberrys because my mum forcing her favourite actors down my throat. There are worse actors to watch a lot of. But I love the Wild Thornberrys. I love Eliza as a character. I feel like it was so nice to have like a female protagonist who was really like cool and like intelligent and like brave. It was so cool to watch. I loved it. I really enjoyed watching it. Every episode was always so much fun to watch. It was great to see Eliza talking to like a leopard. It was great. I loved Eliza. Children should be watching Wild Thornberrys now. I don't think it's on anymore, which is really sad because it was so good. The next show I'm going to talk about is Looney Tunes. Now, I can't for the life of me remember which Looney Tunes I watched. Probably, I think they aired the classic ones, but I'm not 100% sure on that. When I watch the classic ones now, they seem to make a lot of sense to me, but I possibly could be watching like a later Looney Tunes. I have no idea. As someone who's very interested in like cartoon history, I think the Looney Tunes did a lot of things which a lot of people weren't doing at that time, and it's really cool. There's just like great character after great character after great character, and the best voice actors of all time, Mel Blanc and June Forrest. Like, I had good taste in cartoons as a kid. I really did. Like, this was good. I mean, it wasn't perfect, there were flaws, but Looney Tunes are some proper good cartoons right there. And I still really like Looney Tunes, and I'm still really interested in Looney Tunes, even though I'm not a kid anymore. The next show I'm going to talk about is Batfink. The thing about Batfink, I know this is supposed to be my favourites list, but I didn't really like Batfink at all. I remember just watching it because I was bored. I thought it was like the most boring show. Like, it's just one of those cartoons about like a superhero character where pretty much the same thing happens in every episode. And I seem to be the only person who actually remembers it. Like, I keep asking people who are the same age as me, like, do you remember Batfink? None of them remember Batfink. Like, the same thing happens in every episode. This Batfink's sidekick is very kind of racist. Oh, it says here on Wikipedia, the Batfink series was very popular in the UK. Yep. But yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of Batfink. Every episode was the same. It was pretty low budget, but for some reason people seem to like it. I actually have a Batfink t-shirt, which I don't really wear out in public because of the racist sidekick, who's literally just called Karate. So yeah, Batfink. Next show I'm going to talk about is Arthur. Arthur was the shit. It was so good. I remember seeing Arthur playing the piano and being like, I want to play the piano. And then eventually, you know, I quit playing the piano, but Arthur was a big inspiration. I loved it. It was fun and educational. I don't know what it was about it that I just loved to watch so much, but I remember every time an episode of Arthur came on, like, I was like, oh, I'm so excited. I think I watched Arthur up until I was about like 15 or something. Like, whenever it was on TV, I just loved it. I loved Arthur. I loved Binky. He was one of my favourite characters. I still see Arthur memes everywhere. Like, Arthur was a good show. The next show I'm going to talk about is the Fairly Oddparents. Odd parents, fairly odd parents. You let you live when you are a kid with Fairly Oddparents. Yeah, right. I love the Fairly Oddparents. Who doesn't? Like SpongeBob, I still watch it now. Some of the episodes are on Amazon Prime. I watch them because it's great. It's just so fun to watch because anything can happen because you can wish for it. Nickelodeon probably owns, like, you know, a good 50% of my childhood. The next show I'm going to talk about is What's New ScoobyDoo. All I remember about What's New ScoobyDoo was it was basically just like normal Scooby-Doo except modern, and the theme song was Simple Plan, which I didn't realise until later. I remember when I was little, this was the only version of Scooby-Doo which had all the characters in. I remember I used to watch a version of Scooby-Doo which was just Scooby, Shaggy and Scrappy-Doo, which I remember thinking was shit even as a little child. Like, how can you expect Shaggy, Scooby and Scrappy to be able to solve mysteries? Like, that is the worst team ever. Scrappy was annoying. He was so annoying. Okay, this is the final show, I promise. I know I've been talking for quite a while. The final show I'm going to talk about is the Powerpuff Girls. I loved the Powerpuff Girls, and I still do. I'm not a fan of the new show that they started playing because it doesn't have any of the original voice actors in, but I loved the Powerpuff Girls so much when I was little. It wasn't really on TV that often, but I remember making my mum rent videos from the library. My favourite Powerpuff Girl was Buttercup. Everyone loved Blossom and Bubbles. I was like, no, Buttercup, I like her, she's feisty. They were so cool. The villains were terrifying. Him is terrifying. Mojo Jojo is terrifying. Now looking back, I'm like, this show was so weird and just psychedelic. How was I not like terrified of it when I was younger? And I just wasn't. I loved it. It was a great show. And I also loved like there was a movie about it. It was like the origins of the girls, and it was really cool. It was cool. So yes, those are all the cartoons I'm going to talk about in this video. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry if it was really long and rambly, and yeah. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be tomorrow because it's Simpsons Sunday. And yeah, love you very much. Bye!